This week, we're giving our in-depth reactions to the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct. This is the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Good Game, Bad Game podcast. I'm your host, Spencer, and with me is a man who said he will actually go back to the movie theater if you add pickleball courts instead of lowering prices. It's my co-host, Mike. Mike, are you ready to...
That's all I've been...
Yeah, you ready to get pickled?
Yeah, I'd get pickled in a movie theater.
Yeah, I mean...
You see why I hate movie theaters?
I
didn't want the recliners. They're nice. They still hurt my back.
Oh, okay.
So why am I paying $20 more for a movie ticket? I don't want gourmet food. I want popcorn, probably nachos.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want merch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I want to sit in a movie theater that's 50 feet wide. I want to be shoulder to shoulder with the people next to me. And I want to buy the seat in front of me so I can sling my legs over the chair in front of me so I actually fit. That's what I want.
Yeah.
And I want to pay $5 for a movie ticket.
Right.
That's how you get me back in the theaters.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a grown-ass man. I'll sit in my own recliner. I want the experience of sitting somewhere I know I can't at home.
Yeah. Yeah. It just feels like this is just, in the wide range of I have no finger on the pulse of anything. This just falls so quickly into that. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No.
I just saw somebody they were talking news articles and stuff were talking about how some movie theaters are thinking about this, so pickleball courts, and that's just the most insane left turn from movies, but okay. And
are they getting rid of the theaters? Okay, let me back up. Are they getting rid of the actual theaters to replace them with pickleball courts?
I don't know what the fucking plan is.
Or is this a compliment?
I don't know what the fucking plan is. I don't know if it's let's get rid of the seats and we're going to put a big ass movie up on the screen while you slam a ball back and forth. I don't.
Also, what theater is doing this? Is this AMC, what they decided to do with their Wall Street bets money, or?
Yeah.
Pickleball.
Yeah. I don't even know if it was a specific theater. I think it was just theaters are floating out these ideas, and pickleball was one of them. I think there were a few other this will get people back to the theaters ideas as well. And somebody was just I'm gonna hold your hand when I tell you this, and they just posted the picture of how much it costs to buy one adult ticket to the theater, and it's $24 or something like that, and they're this is why people aren't going to come. This is the thing that needs to change. You don't add more cost. Just insane.
It's kind of wild, when the ability, especially during COVID, when the ability to rent movies at home basically on release for $20.
Mm-hmm.
I scoffed at that for so long. And then I said, you know what? I can pay $20 once, and hypothetically, I can have as many people as I want watch this movie.
Yeah.
So obviously that scales. If I want to go to a movie in a theater, I'm going to pay $20 for myself. And if I want to go with my wife, I'm going to pay another $20.
Right.
Now, thankfully, I seldom ever buy concessions. And funny enough, I don't know if I told you the story, but the last time I went to a movie theater, I didn't steal. I took a novelty popcorn bucket out of the trash.
Okay.
And I washed it in the bathroom, and I took it back for the free refill. Twice.
Oh my god. Oh, is that is some shit that like r/frugal like you would see on that subreddit.
Yeah. Well, I know I can afford the popcorn, but it's the premise.
Oh my gosh. Oh
It's
wow.
either the premise or the 3 bottles of Kraken that I snuck in. One of
uh,
the two was talking to me.
and one of them was the Green Goblin mask over in the corner.
Yeah, every time I go into a movie theater now, I'm like, I'm gonna be good, and I see the popcorn bucket in the trash can.
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny. You did not tell me that. If my reaction was
That's
not apparent.
amazing. I was telling everybody that story after I did it.
Oh, I guess I'm not everybody.
Well, I guess not. Welcome to the club. You are now.
No, I
No,
mean,
movie theaters are stupid.
yeah, to a degree for sure. Shelby and I are lucky. We have an independent theater near us, and
Fantastic.
yeah, and so um, we're actually like members for it as well. And so, being a member gets you like a $3 discount on your ticket, and you get a free small popcorn every
Isn't
time you go.
isn't isn't that mind blowing
I mean, it's great.
that a small independent theater offers a membership
Yep.
and actually like has a benefit?
Yeah.
And
And, and
if you want to do something like that at like AMC or Regal, you're probably paying like $20 a month, and it's one of those things where you have to like force yourself to go to make it worth it.
yeah. Yep. And I think that's kind of like the mindset, right? Is like if you do go see a movie a month, if you average about a movie a month, I think the discount you get effectively like helps pay for it. It pays for itself at that point. So anything
Yeah.
you would see over that. So if you're like an avid moviegoer, they're showing like art house films and stuff. So this is for people who are like, I would say like are like big like film heads. Would like any movie that gets brought in here, but maybe not necessarily always hits with the general public. But yeah, so if you go, you it pays for itself. But the nice thing is that you don't feel forced to do that, in my opinion, because you're supporting an independent theater. You're not supporting AMC. So when it's like an AMC or Regal, like you were talking about, yeah, you feel like you have to beat the corporation, right? You have to make the corporation pay for what they've done.
Exactly.
But with this, it's just like, I got a nice benefit. Maybe I get more back than I pay in, but even if I don't, at least the money's going to some good, um, to the arts, if you will.
We have 2 movie theaters that are independently owned, and they're awesome. Like the one is like they probably haven't updated the place in 30 years. It's exactly what I was talking about before, where it's like the fold down chairs.
Hmm.
Like there's barely any space, but also like the last time Justine and I went to a movie there, we were the only people in there,
Yep.
which like sucks for the movie theater, but was super nice for us. And like popcorn and a soda was like $5.
Yep.
I think and our tickets were like, I don't know, $5 or $8 each. And that was incredible. And then there's another place in our town that like was upgraded. Like it has the recliners again, independently. Actually, it's independently owned, but they have like 2 theaters. Um, and I don't know. I don't really know how it works out, but they're still like a local company that does it. And same thing. They do like a student discount.
Yeah.
Popcorn is like that one actually may have been cheaper than the other place. I think popcorn there was like $3. Um, and sodas were probably $3, and you got like free refills.
Hell yeah, that's the way to fucking do it.
Yeah. Now, if there are any movies like coming out in theater that I was interested in going to, I would go. But
Sure, that's a whole different battle.
Yeah.
So yeah, all that's to say is do not go play pickleball or any of the shit that they try to do.
We'll have to do an episode, or maybe this is more SM soup material, about millennial retirement homes.
Yeah, millennial
I
and
think companies
retirement, good
are
one.
real. Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? So I think
Oh.
companies are realizing that people our age aren't going to be able to retire like the same way that the current generation is,
Yeah.
where they're getting retirement communities in cities with wine cellars, and meanwhile there's no affordable housing. And like by affordable housing, I don't mean low income housing. I mean housing that somebody in their 20s could rent or buy
Yeah.
and like be able to do anything else other than pay rent. Um, so I think these companies are realizing like, oh, millennials need like retirement days, like once a quarter. They need to go out and they say, oh, let's go play pickleball. Oh, there's a movie theater right here. Um, and that's why they're starting to bundle all these things together.
Yeah, it's just like it's like that meeting you sit in on at work that is just one person talking and they use like 17 different buzzwords and you just immediately start tuning them out.
Yeah.
Pickleball, movie theater, microbrew. All right, I'm out.
Let's keep all of this top of mind.
Yeah, get that over to me by EOD. All right.
Well, that one I use, but
Yeah, I also use it, and I hate myself for it. Um, Before we get into the big news, this is going to be a packed episode. So strap in. If you remember, dear listeners, Mike and I put together a little challenge. I guess you could call it a challenge. Basically, we're trying to commit to completing games in our backlog. Mike and I each came up with a list of 10 games that we are hoping to effectively get through, or these were the games that stuck out the most to us as how have we not gotten through these yet, sort of deal. You can go back and listen to that original episode. We each put together a list again of 10 games. And the idea is that I will pick a game for Mike from his list, and Mike will pick a game for me from my list. And then we have 1/4 of the year to finish it. And if you look at your calendars, can you believe it? The year is over 25% done as we hit April. So, for the first quarter of the year, Mike and I both happened to have Luigi's Mansion on our list. So it felt right for us to just play the same game since we had it. And yeah, so I figured we could take a little time to talk about our experience playing Luigi's Mansion, each pick our next game, and then we can get into all this Switch 2 stuff. Sound good? Michael?
oh, I thought you were asking the audience.
I was so worried that you dropped. Oh my god.
No, I'm here, but you directed all of that to the audience, so I
Yeah.
figured it wasn't my place to respond.
Yeah. The sound good was for you, but you're right.
Oh, it
That
doesn't matter to
was
me. I don't get a choice.
uh no, wait, you do have choice. You do have a choice. You have free will. um how was your experience first off with just this challenge to begin with, I guess, and secondly specifically going into Luigi's Mansion?
I'm just glad to know that my procrastination is as bad as it's always been.
Brother. So true.
Isn't it amazing? Like, it's something that you want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've had this game for, I don't know, a lot of years, probably going on 20 something.
Mm-hmm.
So, never seen the inside of my GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was just like, I got time.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't I just play it when I had time? I wanted to play it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just not. I'm motivated by my own mortality.
Right. Yeah, it does feel like we both kind of fuck-faced ourselves by waiting until, 2 weeks out because we kept telling ourselves it's not a long game.
Mm-hmm.
If I beat it in January, we're not going to talk about it until April. So might as well just push it off and push it off and push it off. I'm swearing. I'm swearing to myself and to you, Mike, and to all the listeners that whatever game you pick for me next, I will be starting, and I will have an update for next week.
Okay.
No matter how big or small, I will chip away at this thing. I've got 3 months, and I will use them very wisely.
I can't promise the same thing. I will do what I can.
But how did you enjoy Luigi's Mansion? This is fun because we both got to play the same game, so like we both are going to know exactly or should know exactly what the other person is talking about, in terms of experience.
Yeah. Here's the great thing about this challenge is it's going to force me to get through games whether I like them or not.
Uh oh.
And don't get me wrong, I like Luigi's Mansion.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I would say overall, like Luigi's Mansion. The biggest thing that keeps me from coming back to old games is just why did it take us so long to figure out controls
Yeah.
and like depth?
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
the controls on this game were just god awful. And the mechanics of everything. I actually, so okay, I didn't really know how to catch ghosts until the final boss fight. Whatever I was doing was working, but I was using a combination of like the left analog stick and the C stick.
Okay.
So I thought you had to kind of like fish it away from them using both
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
No, it turns out you just had to use the one on the left the whole fucking time.
Oh, wait.
So I was making my life infinitely more difficult.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I was using both the analog and the C stick as well.
Because it says to use the control stick, like in the tutorial, use the control stick to like pull away from where the ghost is moving.
Yeah.
Well, it was my impression that C stood for fucking control.
Yeah. It
No,
stands for
not the
chat.
case. Yeah, it does now. Right,
Yeah.
chat?
Yeah. Chat, is this real? Honestly, I'm really happy you said all that though, because I genuinely felt even after finishing the game that I'm not confident I was catching the ghosts in the right way. Like whatever, like you said, whatever I was doing was working, and so I was like making my way through the game, just fine. But like, but the entire time it felt like this can't possibly be right. Like I have to be making this more difficult for myself,
Yeah.
or I'm missing the thing that makes it 10 times easier. Um, which I guess is just two flip sides of the same coin, basically. But yeah, crazy.
Um, Other than that though, like games that hold up for 500,
Oh yeah,
Luigi's Mansion is one of them.
yeah. I mean, I felt like the flow of it was like surprisingly good.
And it like kind of scratched the Metroid itch for me too, with like needing to remember where things were in certain rooms and going back and
Mm-hmm.
like I thought that was cool.
Yeah, but it
The game
wasn't.
itself really go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, but it wasn't so annoying with like the back and forth,
No.
like you go all the way to one corner and then realize you have to go all the way back to the other corner, which requires you to serpentine through the stairs. There were a few times where you had to do that, like right at the end, basically. But like, thank God the entire game wasn't like that, because
Yeah.
that's what's killing Shelby and I on some of these old games, because they're such tight maps and they're technically such small worlds that it's like, yeah, go to this one corner, then go back to this other corner, then go back to the other corner, and then you find out you have to go back to that original corner. And it's like, are you fucking kidding? You're just trudging back and forth and back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And like this didn't beat you over the head with it while still having you do that to some degree, and I really actually liked how they did it.
One thing I also had to remember about games from that time period is there's zero fucking hand holding.
Mm-hmm.
And they like leave you to discover a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I discovered at the end of the game, which I wish I would have known the whole time, was if you used like the camera to take a picture of a mirror, it sends you back to the lobby. And that would have saved me, especially once you open up like the third floor.
Mm-hmm.
That would have saved me so much travel.
Yeah. I actually I also only noticed that on one mirror, but there were a few times. I will admit, like I wasn't like trying to be, uber completionist with this, so I wasn't like combing every single thing.
Hmm
I was definitely attempting to beat this game effectively as quickly as I could.
hmm
Um, and so I didn't interact with the whole like pull out the camera thing too often, but there were a couple of times. Did you ever notice the like mouse holes? You
Yeah.
could like go in those and get like secret rooms. Um,
I only did one of those and I thought it was just like an intentional thing. I
gotcha.
did a lot of Googling after the game, mostly because I had 49 out of 50 booze.
Oh,
And I combed the entire map before going into endgame, and I
yeah.
realized the room I forgot to go into, but
Did you end with 50 or no?
I ended with 49.
Nice. I ended with 45.
That was like what the minimum that you needed to go into the end game, right?
No, I think 40 was the minimum you needed.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it was
Well, I could have
45.
been. I don't know. Like I said, I did a lot of Googling at the end.
Uh, but yeah, I thought the flow of it was really good.
Mhm.
Again, I stand by. It's not a long game. I probably beat it in under 8 hours. I would say, if I had to guess. I don't know the exact time, but it's just four areas and or chapters or whatever you want to call them. They specifically call them areas, and each one couldn't have taken me much more than an hour and a half to 2 hours tops. Like some of them were probably quicker than that. So, um, yeah, overall, really good, really satisfying.
Yeah, I think I played around or slightly more than 8 hours.
Okay,
But again, I spent a lot of time at the end, like going through all the rooms trying to find booze.
sure.
Um, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It did take me. It was one of those things where like I played it the first time I played it for like 2 hours, and I got to like the end of the first boss, and I was like, I get the point. And then a couple of days ago, I was like, I'm just gonna like play this tonight and get as far as I can. And it was like one of those times where like it was like 12:15 in the morning,
hmm
and I said I should really go to bed. And then the next thing I knew, it was 1:30, and I'd basically gotten up to end game, and I knew that, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to start this tonight. Which thank God I didn't, because I really struggled with the final boss.
Oh, really?
I didn't realize that you can throw one. I again going back to the controls. I really struggled to pick up the spike balls
Uh huh.
just because I couldn't get the perspective right. And then when I did hit Bowser, I couldn't figure out where the fuck Boo was, like depth wise.
Oh, okay.
Like I'd start vacuuming, and it turns out Boo was closer to the screen,
Gotcha.
and I was, yeah, that fucked with me. That was the only way I beat that was like every time I knocked him out, I just went as far down to the bottom of the screen as I could go, and then turned around.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Um,
smart.
but um, I didn't realize that you could throw the spike balls at him like when he was breathing fire.
Ah, yep.
I thought you had to wait for him to do like
The
his suck up
sucking.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And I think I picked one up, and he came over to me and it was about to explode, and he was breathing fire, so I just let it go, and that's how I found out that you could do it that way too. So it's one of those boss fights where it took me 5 times probably to do it.
Okay.
Which another gripe about
Oof.
old games is you have to travel all the way from the fucking
Yup.
lobby. And then if that wasn't enough, there's like that utility room that has the sand on the ground, and you have to like vacuum
Ugh.
that up to get through.
Yep. Yep.
And then that final hallway, I like always took damage.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where like the final time I went into it, I don't think I took any damage in the whole boss fight. It's because I had it down at that point.
Yeah, I lost the final boss fight the first time. It put me all the way back, and it was like one of those things because, like you said, old games love to do that shit to you,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like, all right, Spencer, lock the fuck in because you are
Yeah.
not going back to this lobby again. And yeah, so I did take damage in that hallway that you're talking about. But I went into the final boss fight with 90, and I think like by the skin of my teeth, I was able to beat it on the second try. The boss that I think gave me the most trouble was the one before that, or I think it was a boss. It's the one where you had to defeat the like boo that like you
Yeah.
stabbed it onto the ice unicorn or whatever, and then
Yep.
it like took out all the other boos, freezing those like smaller boos for whatever reason. Like they just were not getting close enough to me. I must have lost that one. I might have lost that one like 5 times. And yeah, the brutal like going back to the lobby and just like oh my god, having to get all the way back up to the roof and all that stuff was just like
Yeah.
man, that was a frustrating one for sure.
I What did I do? That one took me, I think, 3 tries. But yeah, like at the very beginning, it's pretty easy just because there's so many of them. You can just kind of like let the ice thing go.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out you can shoot. Again, this is another thing that the game doesn't tell you, but you can shoot like puffs
By
out of that if you just kind of like tap the L button.
I thought if you like fully compress it, it shoots one.
Oh, I don't know. I was always fully compressing it because I forgot that the GameCube actually like it wasn't just a button; it was actually kind of like a pressure thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I never felt like I actually had it down. So to be
I
completely
I
clear.
I got it down to the last like little boo every time, and that one would be enough to kill me.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I ended up finding out was they don't come towards you when you do the freezing thing.
Yeah, you
So
had to like lull them basically to come towards you,
yeah,
and then yeah, quick get them.
so but they will come towards you if you're doing the vacuum.
Yes.
And I found that um if you hold the vacuum and then hold the L button, it just vacuums, but as soon as you let go of the R button, it'll freeze immediately.
Oh, okay.
So I like backed myself in a corner for the last one and just waited for him to attack me, and I think I did it that way.
Ah, that's pretty smart.
But I don't know how I got him. Like it was one of those things where I heard the noise, I was like, "Oh, thank God!"
Yeah. Ugh.
And then there wasn't a save immediately after, and I said, "I swear to God, if I lose power or my GameCube turns off, I'm
uh,
not going to beat the game."
yeah, the worst feeling. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, overall, I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it was
Um,
good. I'm definitely not going to procrastinate on this again, especially if I get a game that's on an older console because I literally had to do surgery on my GameCube like 3 days before the deadline.
yep. Good stuff. I love that. I said to you, and yeah, nobody would have to know this technically, but we're recording this on the 3rd, and you finished it yesterday. No, you finished it
Yeah,
on.
yesterday.
Oh, you did finish it
Yesterday morning.
yesterday, and I finished it on. You finished it on the 2nd, and I finished it on the 1st. So we both did not technically finish it by the end of March, like we
Boo.
would have needed to per se, but we finished it before recording, and that's technically all that matters. We still got it in
Yeah.
by the time our homework was due.
Good looking out, Nintendo, for having a direct and making us record on, well, today.
Yeah, yeah. Which, if you're wondering why this episode came out late, that's why.
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, last thing. What was your final grade on the game? Not like
You
your
want to talk about
personal,
it?
not your personal,
Yeah, no,
like
I
how
know
you
what you're talking
felt
my
about it.
rank.
Yeah, your rank. What was your rank?
F.
F.
Yeah. Is that what you had?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me feel so much better.
I was like, what? I didn't even go back and look up what the thresholds were, but it's definitely
Apparently, there
based
is
off of
worse
the
than F.
money. There's
Yeah,
there's
F.
worse than F?
Yeah,
Oh.
there's G and there's H, I think.
Oh.
And H is like you get through the game with absolutely zero money somehow. I don't know how you do that.
Gotcha.
Um, and then there's another one that's less. I think F was like 10 million to 39 million. So it's a big range.
Yeah, it is a pretty big range.
Um,
Oh, 39. I was at like 34 something
I,
probably.
I don't remember. I didn't really ever pay attention to how much I had, but I think I was around there too.
Yeah, yeah, to be clear, I also was not paying attention. At the end of every area when they were going through your money, I was just like, this means nothing to me. It's not like I can use
Yeah,
this stuff. And then at the end of the game, I was like, oh, it was effectively like game score.
yeah.
Not that it actually truly matters. But man, I love that. I love that we both, and I think that makes sense. We were both, again, trying to just move through the game. We weren't
See, I was trying to move through the game, but I thought I also found like a lot of hidden stuff.
oh, okay.
And I did like all of the optional ghosts.
Well, fuck you then.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah, I spent like probably an hour trying to figure out what the ranks mean because right before the end credits, I saw all my money go to zero,
Uh-huh.
and then it said like in the last save it did, it said like area one, like
Yep.
$0 was I was like, oh, what just happened? I was like, did this just glitch right before end game and F is the worst grade you can get? Because I thought I had zero money. No.
It does. I have to admit, it makes me feel good because I saw F and I started dying. I thought it was really funny,
Hmm.
and I was like, well, this is either going to go one of two ways. Either Mike's going to get the same thing. I assumed F was the worst, in fairness. So I was like, either Mike's going to get the exact same, or Mike's going to get like A, and I'm going to want to die.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Like when you asked me about rank,
Oh,
and I was like, if he got a good score, like
it's over.
I'm either gonna break the disc in half or I'm gonna play the game again.
Oh man, no. See, it's perfect. This couldn't have gone any better. We both put the same game on our list. We both played it for the first of the challenge, and we both ended in roughly the same way and had roughly the same experience. And that's what this is all about.
Yep.
Um, all right. Before we move on, let's real quick wrap this up by each picking the other's next game. Now, you did message me beforehand and
I
asked
didn't do shit.
kindly that I do not pick the Phantom Pain. And so I thought, I was like, you know what? Let's add a little rule change to this whole thing. Let's each have like a veto, right? And so your veto for this round is specifically the Phantom Pain, and I'm assuming that's just simply because it's the longest.
Yeah,
Or
I think on this list it's definitely the longest, and I know I'm not gonna have time this quarter to play it.
yeah. So I'm gonna go kind of the same route, simply off of vibes alone, and assuming that it's the longest. But I don't actually know, and so I'm gonna veto Kingdom Come Deliverance
Okay.
from my list. Uh, so with that, I don't know if you have the choice for me locked and loaded. I actually have to think a tiny bit real quick about which one I want to
Okay.
choose for you.
I haven't decided if I was just gonna pick one for you or if I was gonna let your selection inform my selection.
Oh, okay. Um, so real quick, I'll go through my thought process here. So you have another GameCube game on here, and so I'm almost tempted to lean that route because um, you just did surgery on it, and
Got a brand new controller I gotta use.
yeah, and so yeah, obviously I'm assuming you still have it all set up, unless you beat Luigi's Mansion and quickly tore it all down and said I'm never gonna I'm done playing with you, as you drop it
No, I
into
mean
a box.
it'll stay set up.
So part of me is leaning towards Super Mario Sunshine. The other part of me, because you simply off of you saying that you can't do a long game, I didn't know if that was because maybe some travel was involved. So I was like, oh, I could give him the Vita game that you have on your list, which is
Oh.
Tearaway. And so those are probably the two that I'm like caught between. I'm gonna choose Super Mario Sunshine. I'm gonna keep you in the GameCube
All right.
era, and it's very fitting because we're talking about Nintendo today.
There you go. Okay. Then I gotta. I really didn't think you were gonna pick that one, so now I gotta.
What'd you think I was gonna choose?
I don't know. I guess I was hoping for something else.
Oh, well.
Okay, no, that's not true. I thought because I told you that I couldn't do Phantom Pain that you were gonna do Tearaway. Um,
Well, do you have a lot of travel?
I do, but you already picked Super Mario Sunshine, so now we got to roll with that.
Well, now that I have that confirmed,
Nope,
I could.
you already picked it.
Okay.
That's not how I want this to go,
All right.
because I could have a consequence for every one of these quarters and just kind of like pick my own game. So I'm gonna go with Super Mario Sunshine. Hmm. Is your veto because of time constraints as well? Because I feel like there's probably another game on here.
No, it's not truly
But
because of time constraints. I'm just assuming that's the longest game, and this quarter is definitely going to be dominated by MLB The Show for me, and so I want to just be able to have as much time for that as possible.
okay,
But to be clear, I believe I have the time to play any one of these. I'm not actually worried
okay.
about it.
You have
That
a
was just
GameCube
selfish.
game too.
I do. Could keep us both in GameCube.
Good.
I
That also kind of
also
feels like cheating to me as well.
I also have I notice your list. Those are your only two games that are on a Nintendo console.
Yeah.
I had four games because I have a Game Boy Advance game and a Switch game. I guess we could have ran through both of our lists again to remind people, but too late.
I think I'm gonna go for a home run ball and choose Red Dead.
Fuck. Okay, cool. Red Dead Redemption. And I am going to play that on the PS3. I don't think have I don't think I have the remaster or whatever that was that got ported to PS5.
I
Um,
forgot that they did that.
yeah, and I also
I
heard it's
really,
not like that amazing anyway, so I'd rather just play it
yeah.
on the original at that point.
I need kind of going back to our conversation about like how wonky game controls were.
Mm-hmm.
I need GTA 4, like I need them to update it with the controls for like GTA 5 like they did for um well, I think San Andreas was that way. They kind of
Mm-hmm.
made it a similar
Yeah.
because I've never played GTA 4 like more than, the first hour. And I really want to play it, but I can't. I can't do the controls. They're so bad.
Yeah. Isn't the driving like super slippery?
Yeah, the driving slippery, like the camera, like I feel like the movement is weird.
Yeah.
The aiming's easy, I guess, but
All right. Locking in Red Dead and Super Mario Sunshine.
all right.
So we
It's
have
almost gonna be kind
until
of sad because like I don't know how many other GameCube games I have left in my life to play.
oh. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty.
That I own though.
That I don't know, but I'm sure there's plenty out there.
And with
So,
the impending news that we're gonna talk about.
and with the impending news we're going to talk about, you could have a whole plethora of games at your disposal to play, Michael,
But not on my GameCube.
but not on your GameCube. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
something that I did want to touch on. All right. Now that all of that fun is out of the way, let's talk about the big news, which is the Nintendo Switch 2. Woo. Woo, yeah. Nothing? No
I'm
fanfare?
excited. Well, I'm very excited.
Um, Yesterday on April 2nd, there was an entire hour-long direct around the Switch 2, a lot of the features of it, some of the big games that are going to be coming to it, specifically from Nintendo themselves, as well as from some other studios that they got to show off and give little teasers for. Um, they announced, release date. They gave a lot more information around, like the storage of the console, which is cool. And some of the like additional like accessories and stuff like that. It was very, very Nintendo in all of it. And let's see what else they touched on. Some like upgrade stuff to older games, or games that are going to be releasing. um, I guess some games are going to be releasing after the Switch 2 comes out, so there's going to be like a Switch and a Switch 2 version of those games, and then there's also games that just released that are going to have Switch 2 upgrade paths. So like Super Mario Party Jamboree or Mario Party Jamboree. I don't know if Super's in that or not, but like that game just came out really not that long ago, and it's there's a I don't know if we actually know this confirmed upgrade cost, but I'm gonna just go out on a limb and assume $10. For use of like again some of the new features that the Nintendo Switch 2 offers. Um, but yeah, I mean overall, I definitely think there is a ton to be excited for. I thought again the overall direct itself was very good.
It was
Uh,
long.
it was, yeah, hour
I was
an hour
expecting like
long,
half an hour.
and it was jam packed with not only information but also again just like uh game reveals and like really showcasing like what all is going to be able to come to the console, which I think is great. But yeah, what were some of your initial thoughts?
I thought it was great. It felt like an old style console release to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think some of the features are cool. It's just it is hilarious that Nintendo is kind of pulling an Apple and being like, we now have group chat. It's like, yeah, well, other consoles have had it for 20 years.
I think somebody was like, just wait until these people figure out what Discord is.
Yeah. Yeah. It is cool that it's all like managed. Like it definitely the interface for it seems great.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. It's still a Nintendo Online service though, so that makes me nervous. Um, but I mean, overall, I feel like the console is going to be cool. I just want to give myself a pat on the back for knowing that they were going to use mouse controls.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, the console seems great. Um, I'm kind of shocked at the we didn't hear more about like some first party games that weren't like Switch 2 exclusive. Like it's basically just Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart,
Um,
and
and then upgrades.
new Donkey Kong game, unless I
Oh,
missed it,
true.
I think that is also
I
just
don't think
Switch
that's
2.
launched though.
It's not launch. It's about 2 weeks
Launch
after
window,
launch,
as they
or
call it.
yeah, or like a month, within a month or so.
Yeah,
But like I believe that is only for the Switch 2, whereas I think Metroid Prime 4 and like Pokemon are not only Switch 2. But again,
right.
they fall into that window of like a Switch 2 version of like upgraded visuals and stuff like that, or just like
Yeah,
runs better and stuff. So
yeah, that's true. Um, I'm just excited for Metroid and Mario Kart, so I really can't ask for much more.
yeah, and I mean that Mario Kart. it seems extremely what's the word? Oh God, don't
If
you
you're going to
hate?
use girthy again, I suggest you don't.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. God damn it. I really felt like I was going to say something so intelligent, and I'm just coming up so dumb right now.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, uh like what's the word for like uh innovative, or like you're really taking a shot, or like it feels really
Ambitious.
ambitious. That's a good word. I think that's maybe the word I was going for. Because they're doing
Probably
this like
probably better, but
they're doing this open world like aspect of
Mario
like you
Kart
can,
Horizon.
yeah, you can free roam, you can do all this stuff, you can play with friends in the free roam, you can do these long ass races through the world, right? And
You
like
can
it's just
grind,
you can grind.
do
Yep.
some sick 50/50s.
Yep. No, I mean
I hope
it's
the soundtrack is all just like Mario themed ska.
it is just
Real big cheap cheap.
no, it
That's going
is
to be the house band.
that's fucking funny. That is fucking funny. That was good. Oh my god. No, it's just gonna be New Donk City's theme song from Super Mario Odyssey, just on repeat.
Yeah.
And that's it. It doesn't matter if you're on a different map or anything like that. So
Just
it'll
listen
get
to that
old.
one song.
It'll get old. But um yeah, I'm really excited for Mario Kart World. I think yeah, uh looks really, really cool. Yeah.
I need to say this though. Um, the devil is tempting me with this.
Uh-huh.
Um, they just had to show Madden. They just had to do it.
They did, yeah. They showed Madden. Madden's going to be coming to the
Not only can
Switch.
I play Madden 8 hours a day, but now I can play it in the car
Yep.
when I have to travel.
Yeah.
There's really no reason I can't play Madden.
There you go. Yeah, they really fucked up, huh?
Yeah, they sure did. Wait till they add the show.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'll keep playing that on PlayStation only
Yeah.
for now.
I at least like to keep my worst vices in the sanctity of my own house.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to know you're safe while you're doing it.
Yeah.
So just I ask that you do it under our roof and be responsible. um but yeah, so we got to see really a good bit about Mario Kart World. We're gonna get more information around that, I believe, in about 2 weeks. April 17th, there's another direct solely focused on Mario Kart World. So we'll have more updates around that. But again, they really already showed a ton that I don't know if there's anything else that they could show me to convince me any more than I already am. Is effectively, I guess, what I'm trying to say. But yeah, they also showed off Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I think that was it as far as I am aware.
The Kirby racing
Oh,
game.
the Kirby Air Riders. Yes,
Yeah.
good looks. There was that. There was also the Drag X Drive, which was the or Drag N Drive, which was the you use both Joy Cons as the mouse controls, and it's like wheelchair basketball.
Yeah, that's right.
And that actually looked really sick, except for the fact that I feel like you have to play 3v3 like online, and like you can't
Uh
do like a I play with 2 AI on my team and against 3 AI. Um, so I don't know how to fully feel about that. And then the last thing was that Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which
that pissed me off.
it didn't really it didn't really piss me off. It just baffled me, and I said no one will buy that.
almost no one will buy it.
Almost no one will buy it.
That's insane.
It's
That
a
it's paid.
paid tech demo effectively to teach you some of the ins and outs and secrets of the Switch too.
Yeah, and
And
that's great. Except I can Google it for free.
right. Right. It felt like they were trying to do an Astrobot route effectively, except um almost less so, I would say
Yeah.
in the end. And and yeah, so it's basically a tech demo with a bunch of mini games and stuff like that. And but it's you have to pay for it, and I really find it hard to believe that most people are going to want to do that. Interesting note that people were bringing up was the fact that Reggie, back when he was still with Nintendo, he was the one who really pushed for Wii Sports and that to be like a bundled in with the console game. And he said that he had to fight tooth and nail to get that to happen because Nintendo has the beliefs of like you don't really give your stuff away for free, and I can understand that. And he was eventually able to convince them simply off of the fact alone that the Wii was such a transformative and different thing that you had to try and help provide like a proof of concept effectively to get people to really truly understand. Um, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing as like a go forward thought process. Again, we saw it with PlayStation and the PS5 and how they did it with Astrobot. I actually really think it's like a great idea, and a fun one at that too. Uh, that can get a ton of use, um, and enjoyment. And yeah, I again when it's again even less than what Astrobot was, right? I just find it hard to believe that people are gonna want to pay money for something like this, but we'll see.
Yeah. It literally feels like you're walking around like Me Plaza
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're clicking on information boards and it just like gives you a visual of how things work. And you have to think about it like that's something they had to put money into developing.
yes,
And okay, like yeah, you're not going to make money on it if it's free, but it might be one of those things that's nice like if somebody is uh you know, they get a Switch 2 but they're not like they don't do the research of what it can do and everything. Like it's one of those nice things to kind of just like walk people through
mm-hmm.
all the different stuff it can do. And I mean, you think about like 1-2 Switch and how you had to like there was games where you had to like figure out how many balls were in a cup,
Mm-hmm.
and you did that by like rotating your Joy-Con. Like that's crazy. That's something that like no game controller has ever done.
Mm-hmm.
But like, how do you get people to know that that's what's supposed to happen?
Right.
I don't know. I when they said that, like called out specifically that was a paid experience, like that's so stupid.
Yeah. Yep.
Just put it on the fucking console.
Immediately was just like, okay, well, this no longer matters to me.
Yeah,
Because the entire time I was like, oh, this is pretty neat. Like, it's cool that you'll get to like just get a better understanding of the hardware you're working with, and I love that. And then it was
yeah,
like, this will be a paid experience, and I was like, you're an insane person.
yeah. Well, it seems to be
Move on.
yeah. It kind of seems to be the trend with this console.
Yes, yes, which we will get into. Um, but yeah, I thought Kirby Air Riders, definitely exciting, and yeah, Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Legends. I think like calling out specifically that these games are going to have like it feels like there is true meaning behind being a Switch 2 edition. Something that I don't feel like we can necessarily say about this like current generation of the PS5, PS4, where you know the game releases are the exact same. They just maybe run that much a little bit better on PS5. Metroid Prime specifically, they call out how like you're going to be able to use the mouse controls of the
Yeah,
of the. I feel like that's going to be sick.
that's pretty cool.
Right? Like I feel like Look
definitely.
out,
Like I
competitive
think
Call of Duty
they
coming to Switch.
yeah, exactly. It's funny. I have the Metroid collection on Wii, and at first I was kind of tentative about like you need to use the motion controls. Like they don't
hmm
build in any controller support for that game, and I was like, oh, that sucks.
hmm
But it's actually like it works really well for that game.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever play it that way because unless I can use it on my lap, like the mouse feature, like how am I supposed to do that if I'm sitting on a couch playing a game?
Um, buy like a TV tray, like a
Yeah,
TV dinner tray,
yeah.
and you put it over your lap.
But do you see what I'm saying?
Kind of. Yeah.
Like, doesn't that feel janky?
A little bit. Yeah.
Honestly, what I think I'm more likely to do is take the Switch off the dock and like put it on my desk.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Oh, it's cool that they have the option. I just wonder how many people are actually
Oh
gonna
yeah, I
use
mean, I'm
it.
sure it's gonna be few and far between. Um, what else did I want to call out? I wanted to call out it was also really nice to see all of the games that are going to be coming to the Switch 2. I think like that kind of helps to showcase a little bit better, the power of it. Um at least that's kind of like the perception I was getting. There's Elden Ring, and then Elden Ring Fortnite coming to it. Um, you get like Borderlands 4 is going to be coming to it. Hogwarts Legacy. You get Civ 7, right? Like you're getting these like big games that it feels like some of these maybe didn't need to skip the Switch and may have in fact also released on the Switch, but then Cyberpunk, I don't think Cyberpunk came out on the Switch, if I'm remembering correctly. And I believe the cartridge alone, I saw somewhere, is going to be 64 gigs for Cyberpunk, which is another great thing. Is that the storage of the Switch 2, I believe, is 256 gigs. Is that right?
Would they say it was 256 or 128? I genuinely don't remember. I didn't
I
remember
think
being that much because that's like insane.
I think it's 256. I
That's
think it's
like you should cut
4x.
that in half and cut the fucking price.
Oh, sorry, it's 256 gigs, which is 8 times the storage capacity of the Nintendo Switch.
Which is
Um,
also false.
come again?
Are they saying the Switch had 16 gigs on board?
No, they're saying the Switch had 32
32
gigs
gigs?
on board.
Yeah, it didn't. Not the original one.
How
The
much did?
original had 16. I caught
Oh, so it must be talking about like the more
the OLED
recent.
maybe.
Yeah,
But why wouldn't you say this has 16 times more storage? That sounds way more impressive.
that's true. That's true.
Unless I'm stupid, but I'm pretty sure my Switch, like, there's no reason. I have an SD card in my Switch.
hmm
There's no reason. I don't have enough Switch games. There's no reason I would need that if I had 32 gigs.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know because most of my games are physical, which I feel like take up that little bit less of space. But I also could be wrong.
Not in this upcoming gen.
Correct. They did also call out that micro SD express cards are going to be needed, which
That's exciting.
yeah, so faster reading of the games and stuff like that, and also that does mean that your SD cards that you got for your Switch will not work, I believe, with the Switch 2. So something to keep in mind.
Apparently, I am stupid. It is 32. I don't remember that at all.
Get fucked.
Yeah, I got fucked hard.
They also announced the whole game share feature. So if you're in a room, like if you and I are together, right, and we both have our Switches and we want to play Mario Kart, and you have it and I don't, you can game share it to me, and while we're on the same network, we can play, uh, uh, you know, Mario Kart together. Which I think technically Mario Kart needs to have the feature. I'm assuming that is one that will. I can't remember if they actually
Yeah.
confirmed that that's one of them, but I believe like Mario Party would also fall into this camp, stuff like that. I think that's really really cool. I believe it can also be used even if we aren't together. But that I'm not 100% on. Um, but I felt like that was what they were trying to get at. It does say between Nintendo Switch 2 systems, GameShare can also be used along with Game Chat for online play. So to me, that reads as like you in New York and me in North Carolina, you could share a game with me and we can play it together. Which is, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at.
No.
Um, they also announced GameCube.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, I let out a hearty "Let's fucking go" when
Yeah.
the thing dropped and did the whole rotation and everything like that.
I was holding the Z button in my head
Mm-hmm,
to make
mm-hmm.
it do the monkeys.
That's still one of my favorite party tricks. So many people do not know about that. So it's always
You
a
ever
fun time.
gaslight people and do that and just be like, what are you talking about?
No, but I'm going to now. um, but yeah, we get GameCube games in the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion pack. And they already announced that F-Zero, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and then they showed off a bunch of other games that will be added to it, but may not necessarily. They at least didn't say that they'd all be there when the GameCube portion launches immediately. But like Fire Emblem Path of Radiance was on there, Pokemon Coliseum, Pokemon Gale of Darkness, you know, really a lot of
Luigi's Mansion.
Luigi's Mansion. Yep. Really a lot of games that the GameCube in general falls into this camp. So really the entire library, but a lot of games that are pretty hot on the secondhand um, markets. And it seems like a brilliant way to just combat that and just, give people the ability to just, here they are, go crazy. And this just fits Nintendo's MO so well. This is what they're so good at when it comes to I mean, we say it time and time again. They just have nostalgia in such a vice grip.
Mm-hmm.
And they really know how to give you that slow IV drip of nostalgia, over time. They do a really, really solid job with what they have. They could obviously be way more uh, like uh open with how much they give. They could be so much more free with it, but they have it down to a science. It feels like, and at the end of the day, like giving people the ability to play these great experiences and allowing them to not necessarily have to. While I love playing, I love that we got to play Luigi's Mansion right on the original like hardware and stuff, and 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna choose that option if I can.
Yeah, if you can.
That's not feasible for everybody though, right? Because some people don't even have a fucking GameCube. So just giving this like ability for people to experience these, and this goes for the entire like gaming landscape. As we start bringing more games forward and allowing them to be playable on the current hardware, that to me is just a net good. Even if it's a cash grab in some situations, which it very obviously is. There are so many great experiences that people haven't gotten to enjoy, and it's a net good, when people have the ability to. And in Nintendo's case, so many of their games are just unobtainable, whether through their own doing or whether through, again, just these like secondhand markets that make it impossible. And then you have to worry about dealing with rips and like fakes and stuff like that. And again, this is a overall like a great thing. And they're adding some bangers to it immediately, which is great to see.
Honestly, like this in Mario Kart, all I need. And Metroid. All I
Yeah,
need.
it's a great like day one, like what's available to you is pretty great. Like those two, Mario Kart and GameCube, is probably enough to convince people like, yep, this is this is a thing.
Yeah.
This is worth it off of those two things. And I don't think that's a stretch.
And I don't know how much time you want to spend talking about it, but like the partner catalog is
Mm-hmm.
is pretty good as well.
Yeah, and a
Um,
few of those things were like, things we hadn't heard of, right? Like obviously like Duskbloods, which is again Elden Ring Fortnite. Um, they showed off
which Switch exclusive. That
yeah,
was the
yeah, yeah,
FromSoft
yeah.
game, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Like that was kind of an insane announcement.
Yeah. Um they also showed off what are those Zelda games that aren't Zelda? Hyrule Warriors,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Age of Imprisonment. Um they showed let's see. What are other things that we had not seen before? Enter the Gungeon 2. I don't remember seeing anything about that. We got confirmation that Silk Song still exists. We got confirmation that the James Bond game still exists. Like, how recently were you and I talking about, like, how have we still not seen anything about this?
Yeah.
And then Switch 2 comes along, and it's like, yeah, these things are still happening. Um,
007?
mm-hmm. What did I say?
Oh, I have no idea. I thought you said Silk Song.
Oh, I said Silk Song, and then I thought I said James Bond.
Oh, maybe. Sorry.
No, no,
My
no, you're
brain shut
fine.
off for a second.
Um, yeah, it just yeah, and again, the plethora of other games that were shown again, I think helped to showcase like the true like power that this thing has. It's such a great upgrade from the Space Switch. It's
Yeah.
truly impressive. Was there something else you wanted to say or touch on about the games in general, or
No,
um,
I thought, it's a good selection.
mm-hmm.
Split Fiction will be there day one,
Yep.
which, I think is a perfect game to have. Um, and I joke about it with Madden, but I do think like Nintendo getting sports games again is kind of a big deal.
Yeah. No, definitely.
I wish it I wish it was because I could say like, oh no, you don't need to buy a $500 PlayStation 5 or Series X to play them, but that would be foolish of me,
Yeah.
apparently.
Which I guess speaking of cost, shall we get into the money side of things,
Yeah,
which I think
I think
is
this is where things start kind of going downhill.
yeah, which I think this is basically the last thing to touch on, right? I don't think I think we've covered just about everything else. Again, very impressive overall. Showcase direct, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
A lot of great stuff was shown. Getting to see all about the tech and everything that makes it up was great. Um, June 5th release date. We get a concrete release date. Uh, and the one notable omission from it all was anything revolving around the price of anything.
Hmm.
Didn't get price of the console. Didn't get the price of Mario Kart World. Didn't get the price of upgrade paths. Didn't get any of that. The one thing we didn't touch on, because I see the price for it, the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. The Nintendo Switch Pro controller to begin with is already like I loved it. It became my favorite controller instantly until the DualSense came out, and now I love the DualSense. I love the Switch 2 Pro controller. Looks pretty much exactly like the original Pro controller that they did, but they have the 2 back buttons as well that you can map, and love it. Perfect. Don't need to change much else about that controller. I already thought it was pretty great, and I'm really excited that they're doing an upgraded one though for the Switch 2. Okay, now after that, let's get into the price of things. So the Switch 2 itself, and these are all just, again, like the suggested prices for now. So things could be subject to change, I suppose. And we're still getting some of this information as we like convert what the prices are showing up as in like euros and things like that. But these are all directly from Nintendo, and are in US dollars, to be clear. So the Switch 2 is $450. You can get a Switch 2 plus Mario Kart World bundle for $500. So let's just stop there real quick. Switch 2, $450. What are your thoughts on that alone?
That, I think my brother Chris, One S Plays, found the price before I did and texted me, and my response to him was, "That's a we know you're going to buy it price."
Yeah. So the first price I saw was technically in yen. And I believe it's 50,000 yen. I think. And I did the quick conversion, and it came out to like 300 and change, 320 some dollars or something like that. So I was like, okay, well, it's not going to be $300. There's no shot. 350. Holy shit. Like that would be, immediate. And I was like, and from there I was like, but I don't really see that being the case. This is going to be a $400 console. I can't see them going up to 500. And yeah, I think once I saw 450, and we started to see other prices too. Like again, in euros, it's I think 399 euros, or I think 399 euros is what I had seen. So, which again, that converts to about 425, USD. And these and prices are never like super accurate in that. Sometimes companies try to do the thing where it's just like, oh, we'll make all the numbers the same so they look the same, but then when you actually do conversions, Australia is paying like $900 fucking dollars for their things in conversion. And it's all just
Maybe
because
they should on such a big, dumb, stupid island.
And it's all in the effort of trying to just make the numbers look the same, but that's not how things work, obviously. But yeah, so the more we get there, the more I'm like, yeah, this number does make sense. And yeah, I think you're right. Like again, $350, you can't convince me that the thing doesn't just rip off the shelves. $400, I feel the same way. $450, I feel like is like kind of the right amount to where you're right. Like there are plenty of people who are like, yep, I will pay that, no problem. And then go ahead.
That's kind of what I was getting at. Like $400 makes sense. The $450, that's when they're getting greedy. But it's supply and demand.
Yep.
The demand is certainly there. So
exactly, and I think it'll help. Maybe it'll help stave off some, supply issues, right? Like to start, if you want a Switch 2, you should be able to get one. Is kind of how this reads to me. And I wouldn't be. Plenty of people were pointing to the 3DS and the course correction that happened there. We obviously have seen consoles such as the PS3, and we've seen price drops happen before. I mean, even getting a Switch, which the Switch had some really, I think, bad messaging around it, and people still felt like Nintendo was maybe dead. But getting a Switch bundle about a year or two after it was already starting to kind of pick up was very easy to do, and at a very reasonable price. So plenty of people have pointed to the fact that a price drop could happen. Hell, even around the holidays this year, you could already see like an initial cut with like the bundle for Mario Kart World, and that would not be too surprising. Um, but yeah, I I don't I don't hate the price. I don't love the price. just for the console, right?
Yeah.
As a baseline. I do think the Mario Kart World bundle though is a pretty good deal, especially when you find out that Mario Kart World is currently slated to be $80.
Yeah.
$80.
And that's just, as I don't know if this has been confirmed or not, or if people were just, you know, being people, but it's $80 for digital, right? And then
So
is it true that it's going to be 90 for physical?
that is the one thing I am unable to verify. Now, just
Okay.
about on every other site where they're listing off the games and the prices and the console and the prices and all that, for the games such as Mario Kart World, Donkey Kong Bonanza, they have they have a digital price and they have a physical price. On this site where I can confirm US dollar costs of everything, they just have one cost and they don't say whether or not it's digital or physical. So I don't want to get too caught up in that because I can't completely
Yeah,
confirm it,
sure.
but because we're seeing it for other currencies, it would stand to reason that yeah, there's a chance that we have digital prices and physical prices, and the physical could be $5 to $10 more. But I don't have any confirmation of that for USD. So like I don't want to um I don't want to like claim that, but that does seem possible. That
Okay,
seems
that's
insane
fair.
to me
Yeah,
if that ends up being the case. Um I I can never remember if you and I have really ever like dove into, the whole like price increase stuff, but where I land on it from the whole like $60 to $70 increase, like it should have probably happened a lot sooner. And we're lucky that it didn't for as long as we're lucky
sure.
that it held out for as long as it did. Right. Is kind of my standpoint. However, my same standpoint though is that like, uh, calling something a slippery slope in and of itself is a slippery slope. But you like by increasing again already, like you're still having such a hard time getting people to consistently be okay with 70. And I think like coming out and just being like, well, this is the new standard is fine. Immediately going before people are even caught up and are like willing to swallow the $70 pill and going like now it's $80, like that seems like an incredibly hard uphill battle sell that I don't know if you're going to have any success doing it.
Yeah.
um
And especially for Nintendo where they seldom do like sales.
right.
Like maybe once or twice a year they do a sale, but like it's not on new games. It's like Mario Kart in 5 years will finally go on sale.
Right. And it could just be what you were kind of touching on, right, where it's like, yeah, but we know people will buy it at this price.
Right.
And so you go whale fishing, you catch a few whales, and then you cut it. Once you realize that there aren't as many whales out there as you thought, and
Yeah.
you already caught them all. That
I
could
will
very well be the case.
I will say when Chris and I were talking about this, he made a really good point. He said, "Yeah, it's $80, but you're going to play it for the next 10 years."
So that is the other thing to consider because Donkey Kong Bonanza is just $70.
Yeah.
So you can't just blanket statement and say, "Oh, well, Nintendo's just going to do this for all their first party games," because you're immediately out of the gate seeing that that's not the case.
Yeah.
It's going to be for evidently it's going to be for clear cut cases, and yeah, if we see another game that is on the same level as Mario Kart World, where it's that same line of thinking of like you are going to play this game forever, or certainly for the entirety of this console, then yeah, you might see a slight increase in the cost of it.
And think about the server maintenance for that game too.
Hmm.
It's not, it's a live service without like the taboo live service word.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
and they're going to
ambitious.
have to support those servers for the next. It's ambitious. They're going to have to, you know, maintain those servers for probably 10 years.
100%.
Um, and they're going to provide updates. Um, I'm sure there's going to be some free updates, but I'm also assuming they're going to continue like the Nintendo Switch online, whatever the like upper end is to get more content.
Hmm.
Um, you know, and if the options are that or a subscription price, I'll take the $80 up front any day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Mario Kart gets a special pass for that price. Like not like a let me rephrase. They get an exception.
Yes.
And especially because you can essentially get the game. Depending on how you want to look at it, you can either get the game for $50, you can get the console for $420, which is a little more reasonable.
Right.
uh, you know,
Yeah. No. 100%. Um, it's just it's it's like it's a number that people have never seen before.
yeah,
Like, and then it gets the it gets the doomsday spiral going, right, where it's like, oh well, if Mario Kart World can be $80, then GTA 6, like, what are they going to do? um at the end of the day, we don't know, right? Like, um and at the end of the day, I am not in any way, shape, or form a uh like corporate bootlicker when it comes to trying to like defend some of these like decisions, but like we are, no matter how you try to shape it, we are lucky that prices of games have stayed stagnant for as long as they have. So
yeah.
um
I saw somebody and I didn't validate the math on it, but it's got to be like approximately true
mhm,
that Nintendo 64 games were
probably $40.
30 or $40. Yeah. And you think about like the price of inflation, and that would be like $120 today.
Right. Right.
But like, I also don't love that argument because there's a wider macro conversation we have about it. Like, other shit also wasn't as expensive. Like
Right.
necessities, mortgages,
100%.
rent,
Yes.
all that stuff wasn't expensive. So a $30 game, like you didn't really think about,
It didn't
now
hit
it's hard.
it didn't hit your wallet the same as a $30 game even today does.
Right. Now
So,
you genuinely like, I feel like there are more people having the conversation of, oh, do I want to buy this game or pay rent on time
right.
or eat
Um
something other than ramen? Anyway.
so yeah, so really, like, the Mario Kart $80 price point, and then the potential $10 increase between digital and physical, which again, we don't necessarily know for a fact. Like, if that does end up being true though, that is going to be one thing that really really pisses me off.
Yeah.
Because I still, again, I've said it before, like one of my bigger regrets around the PS5 is that I bought the digital edition, because I really do love owning games physically, and with the Switch, I've mostly bought my games still digitally, and I fucking hate that those small tiny cartridges come in that not even big plastic case, but way too big for the size of the cartridge.
Yeah. Why couldn't you just do
Case.
like DS size?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I love owning games, physically, and
Especially ones that taste so good.
especially ones that taste so good. And this feels like it's just another push towards digital that like everybody seems to be going, and I really, really, this is one change that I am extremely adverse to. Um, but again, one of those things where it kind of is what it
Yeah,
is.
it's hard. Like we primarily have digital games on the Switch.
Hmm.
That's one part because we live in the middle of nowhere now, and like going to buy a game somewhere. Well, I guess that's not unique to us. Like even like Walmart is just selling digital passes for games, but
Yeah.
um, we travel a lot with our Switch,
Hmm.
which we can't say about any of our other consoles. So we like having it all like on one device, so we don't have to worry about game cartridges or anything like that.
That is an
Um,
annoyance.
and
Is the game cartridge carry case that we have to make sure we bring with us.
yeah, um, like I think Metroid Dread was like the only like novelty one I wanted to get, and that's because I wanted like the collector's edition. We have a couple other physical games, but
Hmm.
it's not enough that we can't. We have like a case that holds like 6 games,
Hmm.
and that's more than enough for us.
Gotcha.
Um, but I don't know. I'm at the point where even if you own a physical copy of a game, you still don't own the game.
Right.
Like, I not that I think this will ever happen, but like Nintendo could hypothetically be like, nope, this game doesn't run anymore on like the original Switch 30 years from now, even if you have the physical copy, because they just can't validate the license. Um, but with that, I'm like, okay, well, I'd rather not have like the hunk of plastic in my house if there's still a pretty high chance it's going to be useless.
Yeah, it's fair.
Though I think that's kind of like extreme and a little doomsdayish. Yes, I feel like Nintendo will probably be like, okay, we're just going to get rid of the validation,
Yeah.
but or do one final patch that just like turns it off or loads all the keys or whatever they need to do. I don't know.
Um. Yeah. I mean, I don't. I guess I don't really understand the point in making them cost different amounts.
I think it's a novelty. I think it's people like you. I think you're the problem.
Oh, well, I will go take a long look in the mirror after this, and I will figure my shit out.
Go watch that Netflix thing where that woman just gets rid of everything.
Ugh, can't. Um,
People don't understand. Us millennials
let's.
were like hermit crabs.
Yeah,
We see something shiny and we say, this is of value to me, and we hoard it forever.
and then we
Cardboard
never,
boxes, I'm bringing it under my coconut.
and then we never look at it, and then our significant other goes, "Why don't we throw this thing away?" And you go, "No, no, wait, I actually really want that."
You're throwing away my very being, and then you like put it out somewhere visible for 2 weeks, and then it gets shuffled away somewhere
Yeah,
else.
exactly. So those prices aside, and like again, still some uncertainty around it, but like Donkey Kong Bonanza slated for $70. Again, that's the new norm. Um, Pretty much everything else that I'm seeing,
I'm
like the
glad we're
Switch.
using that phase again.
What's that?
The new norm. I missed that phrase dearly.
Oh, why did we stop using it?
Oh, I don't know. I just feel like it went from everyday vocabulary to like I don't know. Continue.
Maybe it's been too long since we've had,
I just like that we're in an era of just like shit being terrible and expensive,
and just
and
accepting
the
it.
American dream is dead, and we're just like, that's a new norm.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that is kind
All
of how it is.
because some boomer said that. Like, yeah, that's how it is.
Uh,
You should have saved more.
Everything else I'm seeing,
So
like, kind of just does fall into that same thought process, right? Like the controller being $80, the two Joy Cons being $90. That's actually a little steep. Um,
all I'm saying is the GameCube controller can be whatever price they want.
yeah, truly.
They want my firstborn? Hell yeah, brother.
I'm assuming that'll fall into the $80 bucket as the Switch 2 Pro controller, but I could be wrong. It's
It's
interesting that
amazing.
the Joy Cons are more expensive than the Pro controller. Like, I find that to be shocking.
Yeah.
The Joy-Cons don't come with straps. Those are like an additional cost. So um shout out to Apple and
Yep.
PlayStation for continuously getting other people to fall into this. Like, if you want, uh, you know, if you want that screw for your console, that make sure it doesn't shut off randomly. That'll be $10.
Yeah.
So I don't love those, but the the carrying case and all those things fall into what seemed to be pretty much a normal, as you said, anymore, kind of thing. Which is to say, at the end of the day, this gets to be pretty pricey, and so it'll be interesting to see where a lot of people end up falling on it. And yeah, where do you net out after everything we got yesterday regarding the Switch 2? Where do you land on it?
Well, I fully intend on pre-ordering it. Is that what you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah, I'm
the
gonna.
like nothing. So everything that we saw during the direct had you locked in, and prices and everything like that afterwards weren't enough to like negatively impact your perception.
I went into it ready to be disappointed. Like not with the content,
Yeah, yeah,
solely
yeah,
with the price.
yeah. Well,
I
nobody
I I
wants to pay. At the end of the day, it's gonna be $600, right? Like
yeah,
that you end up shelling out, for everything when all is said and done. Probably nobody wants to
yeah.
do that.
No. And it definitely did give me pause. Like when the prices were confirmed and we actually had that number out there, I
Yeah.
was like, do I need this right away? I'm like, well, I don't need it right away, but it's still going to be many, many, many years until it's any cheaper. Like, I don't expect they're going to pull a PS3 and drop the price $100 within whatever it
It
was,
won't be that
6
extreme.
months.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. The one thing I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if you could buy um, the Nintendo Switch 2 plus Mario Kart World Bundle, which is currently going to start at 500 versus the Nintendo Switch 2 for 450. I wouldn't be surprised if the Nintendo Switch 2 plus Mario Kart World Bundle was 450 this holiday and the
Yeah.
Switch 2 itself was 400 at holiday. I wouldn't be surprised if we already see something like that.
I don't think their sales are going to struggle.
I don't think so either.
So I don't think they're going to see any need to drop prices in the first year, let
Yeah.
alone the first 6 months.
Yep. No, I definitely think that's the only thing I could see. And I think you're right. I would heavily doubt that it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like you said, nobody wants to pay that much. I think it's going to be an incredible console.
Hmm.
Um, I think there's going to be great games for it. And that's something that I would say the other two manufacturers, like, I don't think you can have the same confidence going into buying one of those consoles
Hmm.
anymore. Like, I think you're going to get a solid product, but like, there's just always so much drama about like how good one of their first party games are. And then like Nintendo, it's like sick. New 3D Donkey Kong. Love it.
Hmm.
Don't care what it's about. Um yeah. I think that's where I'm at. I think certainly, I'm not gonna go crazy with like buying a bunch of games right away.
Hmm.
I so we'll talk about this too, I'm sure to wrap up, but I signed up for the bundle
The
to
Nintendo Switch 2 plus Mario Kart World bundle.
yeah, to try to be able to pre-order.
Is the game digital? Does it come with a digital code or does it come with a physical copy of the game?
I don't know. I assume it's digital. I assume it's just a code.
Fuck. Damn.
I don't know though. Let me check.
But yeah, that's yeah. I mean, it's a that I mean alone is still like a good value. I just again I'm a sicko for needing and trying to get the game physically.
Full game download. So yeah, it's
Hmm.
digital.
Hmm. Well, it was nice knowing me.
Yeah. Hey, you can always buy a copy for $90 down the road.
Yeah.
You're gonna need two when you have a second Switch anyway. Well, I guess maybe
Oh,
you won't
game sharing.
necessarily. Yeah. There you go. That's why the games are so expensive. They're gonna sell half the copies.
Damn. Damn, they got me.
Got you good. Did we talk about how the Switch 2 is apparently cheaper in Japan?
Yeah, I said that it comes out to roughly 323 US
Isn't that
dollars
crazy?
when I
Like
did the
that's not just
conversion.
conversion though, right?
Well, it
Like
was
that's
like,
gotta it's also like $100 cheaper in Japan.
yeah, it's what did I say? 50,000 yen,
Yeah.
which is about 320
But
US dollars.
right.
Am I not understanding what you're saying? I'm sorry.
I don't know that I'm being very clear. Like that's not just the conversion, it's also $100 cheaper in Japan. But it's a Japan only, like it's locked. You can't change the language on it. You can't change the
Oh,
region on it.
yeah. Like, yeah, it's like a region locked. Yeah.
Yeah. And that price lines up just about with the tariff that we threw on it. So now video games are getting political.
There we go. Gotta love it.
Like I mean, that's got to be the first time that's happened, right? Like Australia, New Zealand being the exception, because I feel like their stuff is always like wasn't the Series X like $800 or $900 when it came out there, and
Yeah.
that wasn't just necessarily conversion. I don't know. I just the first thing I saw when all the prices came out was people on Reddit being like, "How do I get a Japan version?"
Yeah. People were saying that wouldn't it be easier or wouldn't it be cheaper to buy a Japanese version and import it? And I don't know if that would necessarily. I don't
You
know how
still
much
have to
you'd
pay
be.
the
I
tariff
was
on
gonna
it.
say
Then it's
I
just coming out
don't.
of your pocket.
Yup. Well, it's coming out of your pocket no matter what. But
Yeah. Yeah.
uh
If it's coming out of that country and into this country, guess what? You have to pay the difference.
yeah, yeah.
That's how that works. It'll
So
just be in shipping and not in MSRP.
exactly. Yep. Fun times. Fun times ahead.
Yeah. Um. So I don't know. Do you want to wrap it up to talk about the pre-order mechanism that they have?
Yes, that is a great place to wrap it up. Do you have it up? Like, do you have the wording? Or you sent a screenshot of it?
I think I did. Yeah, but I have it in my text.
Yeah. If you
So
wanna read it, go ahead.
yeah, so you need to have a Nintendo account. And this is just for this specific pre-order. Like if you wanted to pre-order from Best Buy or Target or Walmart, I think it's going to work the way that it always has. But if you want to buy it directly from Nintendo, you have to have a Nintendo account, and you need to have purchased a Nintendo Switch Online membership with a minimum of 12 months of paid membership and a minimum of 50 total gameplay hours as of April 2nd. So as of yesterday. Um, and
And that's like within your lifetime, like the 50 hours of gameplay, right?
right, you just need to have at least had a subscription for 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
And within that 12 months or 12 months to however, I don't know, Nintendo Switch Online I don't think launched with the Switch. At least as we know it today.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just say within the past 10 years, I think you need to have had 50 total gameplay hours. I think that's how that
Well, I
works.
hope that's the case because if it is just within the last 12 months, I don't know if I could confidently say I had 50 total gameplay hours.
You don't think?
When did Scarlet and Violet come out? Those come out within the last 12 months? I don't think so.
Is that the last thing you played on Switch?
It's not the last thing I played on Switch, but it's definitely the last thing I like put like a fuck ton of time into. I don't know,
Yeah, okay.
50 hours on my Switch is a lot, whereas 50 hours of me playing video games, not so much.
Sure. I that did give me pause though.
Yeah.
I was like I had to really think about it.
You guys play a good bit of Mario Kart, so I feel like you would have.
Yeah, we play a good bit of Mario Kart, and I think like worst case, I need to I'm assuming Justine's Nintendo account is separate from mine.
Hmm.
But like we have a we have the family plan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um so I assume it's separate from mine, but she certainly has more than 50 hours in fucking Arceus.
Right.
I mean, she's probably got over 200 at this point. So, worst case, I'm going to sign up for it on her account too, because I know she will meet that threshold. I probably have 50 hours in Metroid Dread, so if it is lifetime, and then yeah, Mario Kart, Mario Party, some other miscellaneous games we have. But it's
Yeah.
cool. It's certainly not like something that can be obtainable by anybody. And it's nice that the cutoff is already gone. So like you can't just leave your Switch on for 50 hours.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a cool mechanic. I don't know what I don't understand is I don't know if it's guaranteed that you get the I don't know if it's guaranteed that you get to pre-order it or if it's a lottery. It's kind of leads me to believe it's guaranteed if you meet that threshold.
Yeah. That's that's
But we'll find
also
out.
how it seems, but yeah. Yeah. It's tough to truly tell. I mean, it does say like everything is first come first serve, obviously. So there are potential limitations, but
We'll find out this week, right? I think pre-orders go live next Wednesday. I don't know. I can't remember
then
if it's next Wednesday or the Wednesday after.
the ninth. Yeah, so that's
The ninth,
Wednesday.
yeah.
Um yeah. Uh this does say, so if you do sign up, I'm looking at the frequently asked questions on the page as I just registered my intent just now. It does say the first batch of invitations will go out starting May 8th. So if you want to pre-order through other retailers such as like Best Buy, Target, those go live on the 9th. But if you sign up through this, like I would like to buy a Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo, you may not get your initial invitation until May 8th. Um, if I'm understanding this correctly. I think
That kind of leads me to believe that it's guaranteed then, because that's not a lot of time.
yeah, it does kind of seem that way. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting, but I think this is the route that a lot of things need to start going in an effort to um, try and circumvent like scalpers and stuff like that. Like get, give the path to your dedicated base to allow them the opportunity, right? Like at the very least. In general, I think like a lot of like pre-order systems, as much as people like as much as like there's always going to be people who are like I want it now, 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 now. If we go back to the era of like trying to get a PS5 and Series X and like how difficult it was, I
Mm-hmm.
would have gladly gone to PlayStation and signed in and said, "You can take the $500 out of my account right fucking now if you can guarantee me that you will get me a console within the next calendar year." And if it's
Yeah.
like first come first serve, right? Like so like I was the 9,815th person to enter it, and so I will get the 9,815th console after they, make enough. So be it. I don't care. Just with some level of certainty, you can like guarantee that I will have it within, X quarter, whatever, and I'm fine with that. Because at that point I'll have at least known that I got it. And yeah, I can live I can live with that. The constant like I need to wake up at 3 a.m. because that's when Best Buy decided to update their stock and I'm gonna get beat out by every robot. Like,
Right.
fuck out of here with this nonsense.
And it protects people, right? Like, you don't get people getting desperate or getting tired of doing that, getting up at 3 a.m. to try to buy it from an actual vendor, and they just say, you know what, fuck it, it's not
Yeah.
worth my time anymore. I'm going to spend
And
$800
and don't get me
to buy
wrong,
it off eBay.
you'd still have people who do that, but it would be less because I'm sure there are plenty of people who would go the route of like, oh, well, I confirmed that I'll get it within the next 6 months of batch creation. Okay, because at least I know.
Yeah,
Again, you'll still have people who are desperate. You'll still have people who are like, I want it now, now, now. You're not going to be able to curb that, but you'd lessen it for sure. You'd lessen the people who go that route for sure if they can get some level of certainty, I would imagine. But yeah. Yeah, I think it's a really cool thing that they're doing. And so yeah, hopefully this is a sign of things to come.
yeah.
Uh Anything else you wanted to touch on with the Switch 2?
No, I'm excited. It's like it's been so long since I've said, "Wow, I can't wait for this like console to get here." I would say probably since the PS4, like
Yeah.
the PS5 and Series X generation. It's like okay, it it feels like that was just kind of like a necessary step.
Mhm.
Like I think we're all kind of like we knew it was going to be marginal, uh, and there really wasn't any excitement behind it. But this like it feels like the first time in a while I've been actually excited for a console launch.
Yeah. Yes, and we are going to have plenty more. We're going to be eating good for the next couple of months until this thing actually releases. Like I said, we do have a Mario Kart World Direct that is going to be specifically about that game, and then all kinds of other information I'm sure dropping, and Nintendo just announced this like whole Nintendo Treehouse thing where they're going to be giving
Yeah,
like
I
all kinds of
just
news and
saw it.
stuff like that. So yeah,
It's starting in 6 minutes.
I have a feeling we're going to be talking about Nintendo a lot up until this thing releases and then well after it does as well. And hopefully one, if not both of us, have our grubby little hands on the
Hmm.
console and can provide, uh, firsthand experiences with it. Um, but yeah, that'll do it. So this ended up being a real long episode, but I appreciate you if you listened to the entire thing. Um, as always, if you could leave us a rating or review wherever you do listen to the podcast, that would be greatly appreciated. And go over to our YouTube channel and go into the comments there and let us know your thoughts on the entire Nintendo Direct. Where do you net out on the Switch 2? Is it a first day buy? Is it a wait and see? Was there enough to convince you? So on and so forth. Other than that, if you could share the podcast with a friend, that would be greatly appreciated. And we will talk to you next week.